Good morning, it's your man Doug from Red Pig Barbecue TV. Hey, first and foremost, I'd like to recognize the Red Pig Nation. My hat's off to you. Thank you very much for your views, your comments, your likes, your subscriptions. We really appreciate it.
So here's my helper slash supervisor and my best buddy Blaze. You'll see him in our videos from time to time. He's a big fan of barbecue, and he's making sure that the yard is clear of lizards and squirrels right now. So he's on duty. So doesn't have a whole bunch of time for comments.
Hey, we had a request last week. Somebody said, hey, why don't you talk about your grill, your barbecue smoker, your pit that you used to make those beef ribs. So we're gonna get into that a little bit. All right, hang in there. Okay, so this cooker is called a stick burner or offset cooker. I named it Waylon Jennings because it's an American outlaw for sure. It'll get hot on you real fast and change. It's got a lot of attitude, I'll put it to you that way. Anyway, it's just a shade under 400 gallons. I did not have this built. I bought this used off of a friend. But it's so far it's been a very good cooker. I've had it for I guess coming up on maybe a year. This is the hot box where you put the logs. I showed you guys last week where we put the fire. We start the fire. This is the main source of heat for the whole unit. And basically it just, the smoke and the heat come up into this tank, and this is where the food sits and gets barbecued. This excess goes out the stack. So let's take a look inside of it. Put the camera down to get the lid open. But as you can see inside, it's 2 shelves. Pretty good quality. They slide in, slide out. Makes life a lot easier. We've got a water pan tucked away there, and I will fill that with water before we start cooking anything today. So today we're going to be cooking a pork butt and a beef brisket. And I find that when you're doing larger cuts of meat that are taking a lengthier time to cook, I think it's better to use a water pan. This rig's got one in the back right over the hot box. I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up. And kind of helps keep things from getting dried out on you. It seems to regulate the heat a little bit better. All right, Red Pig Nation. So these are the 2 cuts of meat that we've decided to go ahead and prepare today and try to give you guys some tips or tricks, or maybe you've never done either of these and you want to get into the barbecue world or circuit, if you will. This one right here is called a pork butt. It's pretty popular. It's probably the most popular thing for pulled pork, that and pork shoulder, picnic. It's all from the shoulder portion of the hog. And we have a beef brisket over here. Beef brisket is getting very, very popular. It's very, how can I say, it's temperamental. It's like 3 different grains of meat kind of all coming together. So you really want to take your time. Both of these pieces you want to go low and slow with, but especially the beef brisket. And we're going to get them opened up here for you and get them seasoned and get them on the smoker. All right, guys, let's take a good look at this pork butt here while we have it open. You're going to see that they all have the shoulder blade bone in them. I prefer to cook them with the bone in. You can buy them certainly available with, boneless. The bone's already been removed. But I think there's some benefit to cooking with the bone. The meat doesn't dry out, it seems, and it just, that bone releases a lot more flavor into the meat as it cooks. I could be wrong, but I think so. And this particular portion of the pork butt is called the money muscle. A lot of pro teams will actually cut this and isolate this and cook it on its own, and then they slice it along or against the grain, and serve it up in chunks. It's a really, really dynamite piece of pork when it's done right. We're gonna go ahead and cook the thing whole though, because I don't serve any chunked pork or sliced pork on the rig. I just usually pull it or shred the whole thing. So let's get started. All right, so with pork, I typically use a rub that I make up myself. It contains, garlic powder, paprika, onion powder, salt, pepper, and sugar. That's pretty much it. I've tried rubs with a lot more ingredients and a lot more different flavor profiles, some with some hot pepper in it, some cayenne. This seems to work. This seems to give the pork the flavor that I really want it to have. So here we go. And I use these little recycled shakers. They're really good. Covered up with rub, excuse me. I will put this in the cooker fat side up, because as it cooks throughout the day, once this fat cracks, it tells me that the pork butt is ready to be wrapped up. I wrap it up to finish it up, to tenderize it, but once this fat cracks along here, it becomes ready to wrap. So let's go ahead and put it on the grill here, fat side up. Now the beef brisket that we're gonna prepare actually weighs in at right around 16 pounds. Of course, it won't yield that much beef when it's all done. Probably lose about maybe 20% of that. So we're gonna go ahead and get her cut open and get it rubbed down. The rub, very simple, just like the beef ribs I did last week, salt and pepper. I don't ever put sugar on beef. I think the natural flavor of this beef is sweet enough. So let's get it out of here. Now, briskets typically require some trimming. There are some pieces on this brisket that simply won't render. They won't cook up. They'll just become either just a thick piece of fat or a really chewy piece that you wouldn't want to bite into if you were a customer. So we start by trimming this down some. You want to leave about maybe a 1/4 inch maximum on there. And you'll see that this right here is just a thick, hard piece of fat. It's not going to cook up. I cut through here, cut down into this, and then come through like this. And remember to use a really sharp knife for this. Dull knives get people hurt because you're trying to force it and try to chop with it, and it's not going to cut for you. So always use a good sharp knife. One of these boning knives like this is perfect. Let's see here. You see there's a big flap on this thing, and I'll go ahead and remove that too, because it's not gonna cook up the way I want it to. And I don't waste none of this beef. I'll keep all that, and I'll use that in other recipes. So we'll start taking some of this fat down. It just makes a better product in the end, okay? This stuff you can leave on. This isn't too bad. This is a little thick right here. Let's see. That's not too bad. I'll leave that on there. This is a little thick right here. All right. All right, guys. We're almost there. Cut a little bit more of that off there. I'm cutting towards myself. That's dangerous, but I've done this a few times, so I trust myself with the knife. All right. Let's see if we can get some of that. It should be bright white. It cooks up a lot nicer when it is. It's tedious, but you know, once you learn to do it, it goes pretty quick for you. All right, one off of this end right here. All right, let's go ahead and let's leave it like that. And this is not going to be a show winner, of course. We're doing it because we like the taste of brisket and we want to eat it, not because we want to show it off. All right, let's get a rub down. Okay, so just like the beef ribs last week, we're basically going to do salt and pepper. With salt. That's a pretty big piece of meat, so it'll handle some salt. And a little bit of black pepper. Oops, sorry. New vlogger. A little more salt. Oops, a little heavy on the pepper there. Again, this is just my way of doing this. I'm sure there's several other better ways, but this is my way. All right, so let's go over and get them on the grill. I always cook this particular piece of meat in the beginning fat side down to try to protect the meat from the heat coming up through the grates. And again, it's I don't know if it's really makes a difference, but this is the way that I do it. Let's put it on the grill. So we got the brisket and we got the pork butts on the grill. Smoker, sorry, I keep getting caught on that. You know, one of the most important things about making barbecue and cooking barbecue and being a barbecue guy is not being in a hurry. If you need something right now, if you want something fast, if you want something that takes very little time to complete, a burger, a grilled cheese, things like that, French fries, then barbecue just simply ain't gonna be your thing. Always try to enjoy what you're doing. If you gotta sit here and be outside and in the sunshine sometime, looks like it's clouding up a little bit, we're probably gonna get a little bit of rain. Always try to enjoy a beer. This one is called the Other West Coast. It's good stuff. It is a India Pale Ale. I like IPAs. This is from our friends over at Escape Brew in Trinity, Florida. If you've never had a chance to go there, or if you do go there more. They got good stuff. And a place that's close to us that we love, Ordnance One, they sell a lot of Escape products amongst other great beers. And that's where we go to try to get our Escape stuff if we don't go to the Escape Brew. But give them a try. I highly recommend this. I know last week we talked about whiskeys, but it's only 10 o'clock in the morning. I don't know if I should be drinking whiskey. Any suggestions? Anyway, well, it's 10 o'clock in the morning and I'm cracking a beer. But in my defense, I've been up since 4. So it feels like lunchtime to me. But anyway, I'm glad y'all came out today. I'm glad you're with me and following us on our Red Pig Barbecue TV channel on YouTube. I know the production isn't great, but the sentiment is real. I appreciate you guys watching what we do, and hopefully we can teach some barbecue to some folks who want to learn it. We're all about that. Cheers. I just got this awesome cable spool off of I think it was Craigslist or Letgo or whatever. Anyway, I bought it from a lady who had a couple of them. My plans are to turn this into a really cool type of backyard bar. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I might try to sand it down, reseal it. I was thinking about maybe putting like a resin top on it. If anybody's got any suggestions or experience with that, give me a comment, or if you're a friend of mine watching this, get a hold of me and let me know what you think I should do with this thing. And you can't say take it to the dump, because we love it. We're gonna keep it. So thanks. Any suggestions appreciated, guys. Thank you very much. We're back to talk about another challenge to barbecue, and that's fuel. If you're gonna run on pellets, run on wood chips, run on charcoal, you need something to make the fire burn. Okay, so we just got back from getting some free stuff. We got ourselves some logs in the truck. Now we're going to run the splitter and show how business should invest in one of these things if they run stick burners like I do. This is the Yard Max 30-ton log splitter. It's carried by Home Depot. When I was shopping splitters, you know, I could have bought some serious big dollar splitters, but I found this one and I did the research on it, and I didn't find too many complaints about it. It's got a Briggs & Stratton engine on it. Has a 2-year, I think 2 or 3 year warranty. So, well, it's I'm only in my 2nd year with it, and I haven't had any issues, and I've done some significant splitting. This is just a tiny pile compared to what I had. I'll be doing some more splitting here, and we're gonna watch this thing run. Well, as you see, I did about 7 or 8 good sized logs in about 5 minutes. All right, that chore's done. Now what's next? Let's have a look at the briskets. So on a stick burner or any smoker pit or any grill or anything, there has to be a way for the air to go in and a way for the exhaust to go out. Okay, so my cooker right now, Waylon, is running, if you focus there, it's running 250. It's running a little hotter than I like for cooking briskets. So what I'll do, I'll take this and I'll close this vent a little bit, and there's another one on the other side. Also close that vent just a little bit. Okay, then I come over here to the flue or chimney. I don't know if there's a difference or not, and I'll just close that down just a little bit more. All right, and that'll immediately slow the smoke, leaving the stack down some, and then you'll see the temperature start to come back down a little bit. Okay, it's been about 10 minutes since I adjusted the airflow, and as you see, it's down to about 230, 235, and that's right where I like it. Another thing I want to talk about today is a lot of people have been talking to me and commenting why I use these stick burners, these large cookers that take like entire pieces of firewood. Why don't I use something along the lines of a pellet cooker or a Yoder, a Traeger? I even had a guy suggest the green egg, and they're all really nice units. I know that they've got terrific reputations. The Traeger is probably the most common thing I'm seeing everybody getting into barbecue they're using. Kind of a set and forget type of deal where you don't have to worry. You can be gone from home. You can pick up your phone and plug in what you want your temperature of your grill to be, and that's cool, man. That's awesome. If you have such a busy, hectic lifestyle to where you can't take a half a day or a day and enjoy yourself, hang out at the house, do some yard work, do something, wash the car, do something around the house, hang out with your family, and periodically come out and check the product you have cooking on the smoker. And then at the end of the day, you got this huge sense of accomplishment. Maybe I'm missing it. I don't know. I'm not trying to alienate anybody who has a particular type of cooker or whatever they like to use. Not at all. Whatever works for you works for you, and you see what works for me. So I'm gonna keep what I got right now, but who knows? Maybe we'll take a better look. We'll do some comparison stuff. All right, Red Pig. I'm gonna take the brisket out, put it on this foil, get it wrapped up. It's gonna take more than one piece of foil, that's for sure, to wrap this big brisket, but it's so worth it. It's gonna be a lot more tender. It's not gonna take on any more smoke, and we'll be able to cook it nice and slow still. Again, this is called a Texas crutch, when you have to use foil or paper or something to retain the moisture of this beef brisket. But when you're cooking a $50 or $60 piece of meat, you don't want to take a chance on having it dry out on you and be no good. So I think it's well worth it to take the time and just do it. Stow away your pride and just do it the right way. So, all right, then we're gonna put it back on and we'll continue the cook. Okay, now that the brisket's squared away, we're gonna take care of the pork butts. Okay, so it's just like the brisket. Take them right off the grill here, position them on the foil, bring the ends up. It's a little easier because it's not as big. Kind of wind it down like that, tuck the ends in. Try to get the air out best you can, and that's it. And then put it right back on the grill. Good morning, Red Pig Nation. So I would estimate that I finally got these brisket and pork butt cuts on yesterday on the pit, probably by about 10 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock. So it's 8:30 now, and so it's been almost 24 hours, and I'm gonna show you what they look like. I had unwrapped the brisket already, but the pork butt's still wrapped in foil. So let's take a look and see what we've got. Should be good. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and raise the grill lid. See what we got here. So you see the brisket, like I said, it comes out, it looks like the outside's a little bit charred. That's actually pretty desirable. That's a good color for that. It's got a nice bark on it. It actually doesn't taste burnt at all, but we're gonna get it out of the smoker and slice it up for you here. See how we did. I generally try to use 2 pairs of tongs when I'm picking up a cut of meat that size out of the smoker. just a little bit easier to handle. And it's been cooking all night, so it's pretty tender. You don't want to have it crumble on you. Put a lot of work into this. You want to keep it nice. Let's turn it around. So we're going to start with the flat. Okay. Well, here goes everything. Let's see where we're at. Start by trimming off this end here. We'll take a look at the smoke ring. Wow, that doesn't look too bad, guys. It's got some decent smoke on it, and it should slice fairly easy. You want to go probably about a 1/4 inch. The thickness of a pencil is the rule of thumb when you're slicing brisket. And you want to use a brisket knife like this one. It's scalloped or serrated. Cuts through this meat pretty good without wrecking it. You don't have to press too hard. So let's see what we got here. We're doing pretty good. It's not crumbling. It's pretty tender. Let's see. We always do a brisket pull. So we should be able to pull. There we go. It broke right apart. So interesting enough, like I was talking about yesterday, this thing is comprised of 2 different ends. This is the lean end that I'm cutting right now, and I'm gonna cut through, and that way I can show you the fat end. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can move that out of the way just a tad. And let's see here. You can see that fat band that runs through the middle of this. It's called the decal, and it's rendered pretty good after that much time. We're getting basically juice just running out of that. And then again, I mean, it's preference. If you like to, however you like to slice, if you want to slice this into chunks, you certainly can. If you want to slice it into slices and put it on a plate, you can. If you want to chop it. All right, so we've got our official Red Pig cutting board, and we're going to put together some samples of this brisket for us to try. Make sure everything's seasoned properly. And I like to do this little halfway cut here. It actually makes the brisket cut a little nicer and neater, and it presents a lot better. So we're going to do a piece of the point here. Which is actually my favorite part because it's got some moisture to it. We're going to put these ends on the plate there. We'll slide that out of the way. We're going to get a piece of the flat. And that's starting to actually flake off pretty nicely. It's nice and tender. So we got a halfway decent smoke ring on there. Okay. We're going to eat all that. We'll put this back on the heat. Let's see if I can do this without my other tongs here, now that it's cut. All right, so we're gonna take the pork butt, still wrapped up in foil. We're going to open this and see how we did. Okay. That looks pretty good, guys. Grab some napkins here and a glove. Show you, I'll get the camera in a little tighter here for you. Basically, when this pork butt is well done, you should be able to find this bone and just pull it out. And we did that. Okay, it's clean, still steaming pretty good. So, and then this thing, again, it's preference. I like to pull this meat apart and just kind of because it kind of already does. It's extremely tender. It's extremely done. It's moist. It's going to pull apart very easily. So that's it. You know, and you can pull this apart. It hits the forks, or you can get the little bear claw things they sell. And I'm going to take this piece and put it on my tray, and we're going to sample it. All right, guys. Well, we're at the try-in table here. We're going to give this stuff a whirl. So to recap things, we put a brisket on and a pork butt on yesterday at around 10, somewhere in 10 a.m. area. We gave it a good 8 hours of smoke, and then we wrapped it, and then we finished it overnight. Still not going above the 250 range. Stayed down around through the late parts of the night at around probably, I would imagine, 215, 220. And then when we came out this morning, the pit was down to about 180, 170, 175, somewhere in that range. So, so it's not rocket science. It's just patience, you know, patience, and starting out with a halfway decent rub, and using what you got to work with. So what we're going to do is we're going to try this little burn end here. See how that tastes. Really good. I enjoyed that. So we're going to cut off a piece of the flat here, and I'm using a fork. I don't need a knife. You can see my smoke ring on there. Looks pretty good. I'm getting buzzed by flies here. Get out of here, guys. There's no wind blowing at all. It's like, it's got to be 92 degrees and 100% humidity. And so anyway, there we go. Nice smoke ring on that. That's killer. Anytime you guys get a chance to try to cook a brisket, just do it. Here's the point. As you see, that this piece has got some, it's got some fat in it. And that's, if that's your deal, man, that's what you like, do it. That's really, really good. You guys should definitely come try this on the Red Pig Rig. Come find us. We're on Facebook. I'm gonna try a little pulled pork now. It looks, ooh, it's falling apart for me. That looks pretty good. Got a little smoke on it there. A little bit of smoke. It's just no sauce, right? Can't beat pulled pork, man. It's one of them things, you know. And I don't particularly use barbecue sauce. Only time I ever use barbecue sauce is on like ribs and stuff like that I really want to make pretty in the smoke. Personally, if you and to each their own, if you use sauce, that's great, but we just spent 20 hours making this stuff taste good, and you're gonna drown it in ketchup. Anyway, guys, thanks again for coming along. I know this video probably dragged a little bit because it's a lengthy cook, and thank you again for sitting through this with me. Feel free to leave a comment if you have a better way of doing this. I want to know about it. I want to try it, and if this works, let me know. If you tried this same thing on your pit, on your grill, on your Traeger, on your green egg, whatever you use, let me know how it came out. I'm always curious to see if you know. I know I'm not a great teacher when it comes to this stuff, because whatever I'm doing in my head, I sometimes I don't say, I just do it. But anyway, thank you again. You guys remember to keep it low and slow. That's the secret.